Hello, Shoyan here. I'm a carpenter based in Japan. Today is the day after the framing. I'm installing diagonal braces and various types of hardware. Now, let me briefly explain the hardware. These lined up here are called hold-downs. The anchor bolt is protruding from the sill. The hold-down will be attached there to join the sill and the column. All of these will be used in this house. Because the lean-to roof is small, large areas catch the wind, so twice as much more hardware than usual will be used. On the top, I will use this and this type of shape. It resembles an omelette pan. These are for the top. This is joint hardware called Taishin Knit. The name depends on the brand. It is used for joining a column and a sill. On each column and sill, 4 screws will be used to secure this. This is the hardware for the diagonal brace. Rebero. It sounds like volleyball. This is joint hardware for a column, sill, and beam. Compared to Taishin Knit, this makes the building stronger. I use it in places that require strength. I've explained the joint hardware. Not all of them are earthquake resistant. These are used for joining columns, sills, beams, and diagonal braces. These are angle braces, hyuchi in Japanese. This time, I use a steel type instead of the wooden type. I secure them to the corner using 6 65mm screws on each side. This will make it as sturdy as the wooden type. This is the general hardware used for wooden constructions. Now, I install the stud and the diagonal brace at the same time. It's like assembling a plastic model or a large puzzle. These are pre-cut timbers. It will be very difficult for a carpenter to cut this manually. They have a number on it. It won't fit if the pair is mismatched. Finding the right number and location takes time. This diagonal brace is called sujikai in Japanese, and is used as a tension rod that is installed diagonally. It prevents the building from shaking during an earthquake. I'm installing wooden braces on the inner wall, but not the outer wall. A load-bearing wall called a moist is installed on the outer wall instead of braces. The moist measures about 1 meter by 3 meters and is 1 centimeter thick. A building will be sturdier when installing this rather than wooden braces. Only if the moist alone doesn't meet earthquake resistance strength standards, both the moist and braces will be used on the outer wall. My usual building style is a moist installed on the outer wall and a wooden brace on the inner wall. While securing the diagonal brace, I adjust the studs to be exactly vertical. Since the wall won't be straight, it's more important to adjust the studs in the right place than the brace. I intentionally shift the diagonal braces at the top and bottom so that I can apply pressure and adjust to the studs, so the brace is not always located on the front of the column. The most important thing is that the studs are exactly vertical. I adjust it by positioning the diagonal braces on both sides. In the days before pre-cut frames, I cut all the braces for an entire house by hand. It was quite a time-consuming job. Now that it's pre-cut, it's much easier. The installation process takes about 1/3 of the time. In the old days, calculating the number of timbers needed was easy. The number of pieces of wood that would be used in the X and Y directions was decided. If the braces didn't fit well, I could change it if it's for the same X or Y direction. In today's software, if we import the plan, it will calculate all the braces needed. Placement and direction have already been determined, so I install the braces in place according to the plan. Since it's calculated, I'm sure it will be a strong building. I have finished installing the braces and studs, so now I install the hardware. I use two types of joint hardware. One is for the column and the brace, and the second is for the top and bottom of the column. There is no standard in the one I described first. Various types are available from different manufacturers. In some models, only a few screws are used to secure them, which makes me wonder if they are strong enough. Still, it's passing inspection, so I tend to choose the ones with fewer screws. However, I feel more secure if solid hardware with many screws is used. This brand uses many screws. No hardware serves two functions. One is for joining a column and a brace. Another is for joining a column and a sill. Every joint needs its own hardware. There is no such notion as manufacturing sturdy hardware that serves two functions. That is typical bureaucratic thinking, in my opinion. There was no such solid hardware in old houses. It is still better if anchor bolts are used. Before I became a carpenter, there weren't even foundations. The building was erected directly on the stones. It's amazing how they managed to keep the building standing. But the building was joined with a very long tenon and a plug called komisen. A complex job was done utilizing various innovations instead of hardware. Currently, we're trying to minimize work and secure the building with a lot of hardware. Things are changing in that way. In the past 30 years, every time there has been an earthquake or disaster, the hardware required has increased. Though more work needs to be done, buildings have become stronger. Next, I install the steel angle braces called hyuchi. They prevent the horizontal frame from twisting. It's like a horizontal diagonal brace. I use a steel angle brace because it is half the size of the wooden brace. It only needs a third of the space. I use it in several situations. If the ceiling height is not confirmed, when I don't want to use a wooden brace bolt, and when the ceiling is sloping, it is useful hardware. Now, the braces and the studs are installed. The hardware is all secured. I have completed my framing work. Next time, I will install the sash and start the joinery. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.